99% of sexually experienced women will use birth control at some point in their life. And 98% of sexually experienced Catholic women will use birth control at some point in their life. This is a statistic I found on 7 Facts You Need to Know About Birth Control on November 27, 2018. Now, I've been on birth control for just about a year now. However, I should have started much sooner. These are some screenshots I took from my period tracking app that I've clearly had for a while. These are screenshots from 2016. The red circles are days that I would have been bleeding for, and the regular white circle, or the regular white numbers in the calendar, are days that I wasn't. So, for those of you who don't know, the average cycle, or the length of a period that a woman should have, is anywhere from 3 to 7 days. And as you can see, this is not normal. And my problem didn't resolve itself. These are screenshots from 2017. And again, they are not normal. So, if birth control is something that is if birth control is something that is so necessary for women, why is it still not easily accessible? Why is it still not considered basic health care? Why is it still something that's not easily affordable? So, by looking at those pictures, whether you're a medical professional or not, it should be obvious that this is not okay. But it wasn't until January 23rd, 2018 that my problem was finally recognized as a problem. And I was prescribed my first pack of birth control pills. But it wasn't easy to get them. So this leads me to why birth control should be more easily accessible, less expensive, and less taboo. First, we will examine the need for birth control. And second, we will go over some easy solutions for us all before finally moving to some serious life-changing benefits. So the first problem is that birth control is not easily accessible. It infuriates me still to this day the process of which I had to go through in order to be taken seriously for my problems. So, for the length of my periods, it actually made me become anemic, and especially over 2 years of not being treated from it. So initially they prescribed me iron supplements, which didn't work, so in turn I was prescribed birth control. So this is a problem that many women face. I have a hormonal imbalance, so without birth control I cannot physically regulate my own periods. So in my case, my accessibility barrier was doctors' reluctance to put me on birth control, but for many women the barrier can be financial. According to an article titled New CDC Studies Show Access to Birth Control is Critical for Women, access on November 17, 2018. Birth control works, but only if women have access to it, no matter where they live or how much money they have. So aside from doctors' reluctance, many women face this financial barrier. So accessing birth control both has to do with the physical availability the doctors allow, as well as the financial stability of the women who need or want it. So birth control is not available to just anyone. You need a doctor's prescription or medical professional's prescription. And for women who do not have access to health insurance or medical care, this can be extremely hard, if not impossible. So on top of that, doctors don't always make it quick or easy. Like in my instance, it took just about 2 years. So for women who don't have access to medical care, it can become very expensive. So in MoneyUSNews.com, access on November 23rd, 2018, Kimberly Palmer states, birth control pills can cost between $15 and $50 a month. Depending on health insurance coverage and type of pill, on an annual basis, that means the pill costs between $160 to $600. So gratefully, I had the luxury of free birth control up until the past 3 months. My insurance was actually recently cut off, so I've been faced with the problem that many women who don't have insurance have every day: outrageously priced contraceptives. In September, I paid $32 for a pack of 28 pills. And for those of you who don't know, birth control typically comes in a pack from 28 to 30 pills. And the first 3 rows are the hormonal birth control pills that help you actually regulate your hormones. And the last 7 are sugar pills, as they call them, that can have nothing in them that actually contribute to your overall health. Therefore, I don't even take them. So in reality, I paid $32 for 21 pills. And for many women, this is not affordable. According to Scholars.org, access on December 2nd, 2018, contraception use may be widespread and essential, but is not readily affordable for all women. According to the Guttmacher Institute in 2008, 36 million women were in need of contraceptive care, and the Institute estimates that 17.4 million needed publicly funded services, but public funds were only available for 9 million of them. So it leads me to wonder, what happened to the 8.4 million who didn't have access to these free or affordable contraceptives? So despite the reason they may have needed them, it's important that every woman has access, the same amount of access to the contraceptives that they might need or want. So the third problem is the birth control taboo. So birth control is a taboo because it faces us with the reality that a lot of people don't like to accept or encourage, and that's women's sexuality. So for many teens, this can be really hard because their parents may not want to encourage birth control usage because they don't want to encourage sexual activity. So despite birth control's positive health benefits, the media sometimes neglects to address these positive benefits. So according to womenshealth.gov, access on November 21st, 2018, social media platforms shy away from the advertisements that discuss birth control in non-clinical terms. So the problem with society not addressing these benefits and effectiveness of birth control, it leads to more bad than good. So when women are unaware of their options, it leads to more unintended pregnancies, especially among lower income women. And if their experiences are anything like mine, it might not happen quickly or easily. It may take over the course of a couple years, going through a couple different doctors. So by dismantling this taboo, we can ensure that all women are being taken seriously for their health problems. And to solve the problem of accessibility, as a society, we have to recognize birth control for what it is: basic health care. Regardless of the reason that some women may use birth control, it's important that they all have equal access to it. So whether a woman is using it to regulate her periods, alleviate her debilitating cramps that come with endometriosis, or if she's using it to prevent pregnancy, they're all valid and equal reasons to be able to have access to free, reasonably priced, and shame-free contraceptives. With that being said, how can we ensure that these actions will take place to make obtaining contraceptives an easier practice for women? One, well, starting here. Take the knowledge I provided you with and spread it. This will help you take your place in reducing the taboo. Recognize that the women in your life oftentimes deal with a disproportionate amount of hassle and dismissal while attempting to attain medical services, especially regarding reproductive health care. And most importantly, listen when the women in your life tell you about their problems, and believe them when they say that their pain is real. Finally, take action. You can take action by donating to multiple different organizations. I personally recommend this one. It is the easiest website I've come across to make a donation. I have a handout that has the same screenshot of the website for you guys. Basically, you can donate any amount you want, but the general amount is $5 because a $5 donation will provide one woman with a year's worth of contraceptives. And I think that's really cool because going back to what I told you guys about earlier, the average cost that birth control can rack up to for women is anywhere from $160 to $600. So the fact that you can provide $5 to a woman that will pay for some of the disadvantaged, like low-income women who can't afford that, I think that's really cool. And $5 could essentially save a woman's life. And that leads me to one of the benefits to making birth control an easier access for women. So the first benefit is less maternal deaths. According to eNotes.com, access on December 2nd, 2018, the United Nations Population Fund estimates that 1 in 3 deaths related to pregnancy complications and childbirth could be avoided if all women worldwide had access to contraceptive services. Maternal mortality rates are particularly high for poor women who have the least access to contraceptives. So for lower income women who rely on these donations, it can be a matter of life or death for whether or not you contribute $5. So the second benefit of donating to lower class women who may need these contraceptives is that it will be able to give them access to birth control that will eliminate the amount of children who are born in impoverished families. In an article titled "Want to Fight for Poverty? Access" on November 23rd, 2018, pilot projects have shown that offering free access to long-acting reversible contraceptives sharply reduces unplanned pregnancies and abortion rates among low-income women and teens. Now, on the other hand, in an article published in the Wilson Quarterly Access on December 2nd, 2018, when birth control is unavailable, poverty becomes cyclical. Impoverished women are less able to choose when and how many children they have. So on top of saving women's lives, birth control also prevents child neglect because it saves children from being born into families that cannot financially support them. Children are a financial liability for parents who cannot. Children are a financial liability, and for parents who cannot afford birth control, they most likely cannot afford children. So in review, we talked about why birth control should be more easily accessible, less expensive, and less taboo, and the benefits behind these courses of action. So how can you contribute to ending the stigma and making accessing contraceptives easier for women everywhere? Besides donating to the Raise You organization, make an effort to sign petitions and vote for politicians who support easier access to reproductive care. And similarly, donate to organizations that provide women with basic needs like pads, tampons, and birth control. And on top of that, donate to organizations that provide women with cheaper and free medical services. Thankfully, I have had the opportunity to have birth control, especially for the time that I did have it free. So I'm able to share my experiences and educate others on the importance and gain awareness. Thankfully, I have the money to afford the cost it is now. Because birth control has helped me in so many ways, I can't imagine my life without it. So thanks to birth control, my anemia is under control. My emotions are under control, my acne has decreased, and I have a regular and shortened period. Thanks to birth control, I can use multiple methods to prevent pregnancy. Thanks to birth control, I don't feel helpless. Together, let's help other women feel the same.